This project that we're going to be starting actually is going to get into the forensics of evidence analysis, and we're going to be using microscopes. So the project is dealing with um, called microscopy, and in this we're going to be looking at how we go about using a microscope correctly, both the compound light microscope and the dissection microscope, and how we can analyze different evidence. So on this overview page, you can see that I have given you a checklist of when we're going to be doing this. This project will actually be the last project that we do for the semester because of the number of labs that we're going to be doing in here and the structure of how we have to do labs in a COVID environment and everything. That'll explain later when we get to it. But you can see there's going to be 2 checkpoints, and then we're going to do a series of 4 different labs. So what I just want to look at here first is what you will be doing on the first couple of checkpoints. Since we are going to be using lab equipment, checkpoint number 1 will be dealing with the lab safety rules that Columbia has. This is a requirement that I have with all students. Generally, I would give you a paper copy of this to take home, which I am going to give you a copy of this lab safety rules, but because I don't accept paper coming back because of COVID, you will take these rules home, keep them in your notebook, whatever you keep hard copy stuff, and then you have to sign and have your parents sign this user agreement that you find here on this page. You will actually do it digitally. To do this digitally, you can either just click here and type your name. Your parents can type their name, check whether or not you'll be wearing contacts, and then at the end with the digital signature, your parents will they can sign it using the draw feature here in OneNote. You can click on draw and select an ink and just sign your name with a pencil or with either your finger or a stylus, or they can just type their name. But I will require you to have this signature page done one way or the other. But again, on where it says student, you can just click in the middle, type your name. Parents can type their name here, check whether or not you wear contacts, but down here I do need some kind of a signature. I would prefer you use your finger and just draw it on using OneNote. That would be checkpoint number 1. Checkpoint number 2, here we're going to learn the different parts of the microscope. So you can see on this page here that I've given you a reference page on what the microscope looks like. Its different parts. You will be required to know these different parts. This is a generic scope with its labeled parts, and then you can see this is the actual scope that you'll be using here at Columbia. The same thing you'll find with the dissection scope. With the dissection microscope that we use at Columbia, it's a little more sophisticated. That generic picture and its different parts. So you will be required to know the different parts and how to use the microscope. The microscope also has rules that you will need to know in terms of how to use the light microscope, focusing, etc. So I expect you to read through here, and to prove that you've read it, you will sign here. You can either click and type your name, or you can again use the draw feature with a pen and just simply write your name in. With your finger, or if you have a stylus, you can use it. The next thing that we'll do to reinforce learning the parts of the microscope is you will pick up this coloring diagram. On this diagram here, you will color it according to the color coding and coloring rules that you will see below. And then to turn it in, you will actually not give me back the paper copy, but you will actually put a photograph of the diagram and insert it here. You will also need to reinforce that you know the parts of our scope here by labeling this diagram, and to do that I will show you on a future discussion. You will also have to be able to label the dissection scope, and you'll be creating a wet mount slide of your own hair and photographing the different magnifications and putting them into OneNote. And you can see here is an example of one that I did where I created the slide. I magnified to low power. That's actually the root tip of my hair. And then I was able to magnify it to medium power. These two slides are medium power of the root. And then finally I was able to magnify the hair to high power. Labs that we'll be doing a lab on hair analysis, fiber analysis, tissue analysis, and then you'll do an unknown lab. So we'll be doing 4 separate labs, which will take us through the end of the year. All of these will be given more detail. You can see that I haven't even put in the labs yet. You won't be getting them until we're ready to do them, because I'm still in the process of creating these different labs. So that's just a quick overview of this project that we'll be doing. Each will have a specific video instruction for those.